This series of 8 essential movements identifies an individual's asymmetries while simultaneously building strength and mobility. The end result? Dynamic integration of the entire body, allowing individuals to move through their daily lives with ease, function, and vitality. Position 1. Position 1 is very important, as all of them are, but position 1 is your entrance into the method. If you notice, I'm looking around to figure out where exactly I am in space. I'm trying to make sure that first and foremost that I know where my feet are, which I like to say the roots. I like to know what's above me. I like to know what's to the right of me and what's to the left of me. We call that dotting our I and crossing our T. We call it north, south, east, west directions. We can call it the cross. But the bottom line is very important in position 1 to establish an understanding of where you are in space and feel your body. Breathe. Understand where you are, understand where your surroundings are. Making sure through all of these positions that you're breathing in your nose and out your mouth regularly and continually. We've just finished position 1 and we're entering into position 2. And if you notice, I'm literally pausing and taking a little time to transition from position to position. We want to slow down and realize that we're not to be rushed around to find the body. We actually want to take our time transitioning from position to position. I've now entered into position 2, which we can also call half kneeling. Some people refer to it as a lunge position. But for simplicity's sake, we're calling it position 2. Still doing the same, looking down, breathing in my nose, out my mouth, knowing where my position is, knowing where the ground is underneath me, making sure I know what's to the right of me and to the left of me and above me. That concept reigns true throughout the Alston method. You're always breathing in your nose and out your mouth regularly and continually, while still covering the north, south, east, and west directions. Make sure you notice the small things, the micro movements in the body, what your body's saying. I'm actually not just moving to move, I'm moving because I feel, and I'm breathing. And each person is going to do something slightly different from position to position. So I'm about to transition into position 3, and I'm already getting ready for that. You're going to notice I will drop my right knee, and then all of a sudden the third position comes up, which is now the left leg forward, in a mirror image of what the right leg was doing. We're covering the other half of the body. As you may know, we have an anterior and a posterior, an interior and an exterior, a lateral and a medial. These are all just mirror images that support each other. So we're now in position 3. Left leg is forward. I'm breathing regularly and continual in my nose and out my mouth, and also just making sure to cover the ground, the sky, and what's around me. Again, I refer to that as north, south, east, west, the I, the T, what's around you. Very important. Again, trying to stay connected to the body and do what your body's asking. This is about finding a relationship that maybe and often most of us have lost, which is that time to be in these basic foundational positions that will build us up from segment to segment. But we have to feel, breathe, and be in order to be able to hear, listen, and respond to what the body's asking us to do next. So as you notice, we're now transitioning into position 4, and 4 is just hands and knees. And I call it 4 because it's simple. It's what we want. We need to simplify the process with these 8 essential movements so that people understand that it's reachable or obtainable. I'm getting myself prepared before I go down. It's often what animals do before they nest. They don't just go down. They feel, they look around, they fiddle a little bit. Then they go to the next place. We're now setting a new foundation, which are all 4s. This is on my 2 hands, 2 knees. This is amazing to really set posture in place, circulation in place, ribs, lungs opening, circulatory things for the fingers, foundational bone density. There's so much that happens in all 4s. Hence is why we crawl as babies. Inevitably, we're always going to cover, again, that I and that T, or that north, south, east, and west. And again, if you notice what I'm doing with my hands doesn't mean that's what you're going to do with your hands in position 4. This is also about individuation. Position 4, you feel, you will listen to the body, you will know what it's asking you to do, but that's what I want to do in 4. Maybe you'll get on 4s and just bridge. Maybe you'll get on 4s and crawl, but you want to spend some time, approximately 2 minutes per position, breathing regularly and continually, and listening and responding accordingly to what your body is saying. So we're now going into the next position I call position 5. These are all very fundamental, foundational things that you've seen everywhere. What we've done is just given them some numbers and given them some simplicity, but we're going to position 5, which is just getting onto your back and breathing. But if you look at some of the little nuance that I'm doing, I'm actually setting the back muscles, my rear deltoid, my rhomboid, my latissimus dorsi, my serratus. I'm even setting my sacrum. I'm setting my cervical spine. I'm working my spine down slowly to the ground so that now I can be whole. Each one of these positions, they lead from one to the other as a sequence that I've worked on for many, many years to make sure that it enhances your body, but also keeps it simple. And from each one of these positions, you will grow, you may add. You'll see right now, position 5 is most importantly that your feet are flat and your knees are bent. And typically the hands are close to the body, if not on the body. Position 5 is about resetting, it's about containing, it's about drawing that new body in before you get up in a little while. Now I'm finding, where are my knees? Where are my feet? I want to see them. I want to feel them. I'm loosening my low back. I'm making sure that my spine gets realigned right now. I'm letting my body know that I can access my heels, my toes. One big thing I believe in is that we should be able to access every part of our bodies. And again, this 8 foundational movements will allow you to access your body. We are heading into position 6, and I know that because now the body has reseated itself. It's gotten back into the earth. It was flattened out. It worked its way back down to the earth from 1 all the way to 5. We flipped over. Now we're spreading out again. We can call this the Vitruvius human position. We can call this the expansion of oneself. When you're really young, you might even remember that you were playing in the snow and making snow angels. But let's just call this position 6, where I'm expanding. I'm lifting, I'm moving, I'm opening my arms wider than they've been in a long time. I'm creating a wider foundation. Good, I'm playing in this new body. Position 6 is where a lot of the play starts to happen. We're on our way back up to a rebuilt and new body that will move through your life with daily ease, function, and vitality. Inevitably, as I've said before, very important, breathing in the nose and out the mouth, regularly and continually. Making sure I know what's happening behind me, below me, right of me, to the left of me. And quite interesting, if you look at my hands, some people may call them mudras. I just say our hands were born and built to do exactly what they're supposed to do if we stay in touch. They make shapes, they make connections, they heal. So now as we spread out, I'll start to find those phalanges, those limbs, the ends of the body. We have entrance and exit patterns of the body. The body has a beginning and end, but not really. It's a continuum. It's a circle. So right there, I'm just exploring my hands again, my feet, my ankle mobility, my shoulder mobility. As long as you access the movements in your system that your body's asking for, you inevitably will create great range of motion. So we're about to head into position 7. There we go. Which is a roll. Rolling we did often as infants. Rolling we did and we do in bed. We roll under things. We roll out of things. But the ability to roll is very important. In that, for instance, I rolled to my right. I'll note that because sometimes I may want to roll to my left. Many of the occupational and daily overuse injuries that we get in our bodies are due to repeating patterns and not noticing them. So I just want to make that note that I roll to the right, and maybe next time in this practice I'll roll to the left. This is very similar now where our body's in this evolutionary cleanup process. It's about to get up. I rolled just like a child would. Here we go. We're coming up to set that new foundation under our shoulders and our hip and create a healthy spine and make sure that our body's ready to encounter load, ready to be stacked up upon itself all over again, ready to embrace the world, ready to feel reinvigorated, ready to feel more stable and anchored than it has been. And to really work on that hip hinge, to work on knowing that we don't have to grit through the world, but there's some ease in our movements. Instead of going right up to a squat, which would be position 8, we're allowing 3/4 of the body to understand itself. The last quarter, let's say, is going to be when those feet are up under us. But right now, we're still exploring the fact that we have this new, free, strong body that's playing in position 7, which is what I call tall kneeling, 2 knees. Now, it doesn't mean that I can't put my head down because that's what I need to do. You could call it bowing, you could call it praying, you call whatever you want, but we're calling it position 7 because the knees is the foundational place that's taken the load before we go to our feet. And again, breathing regularly and continually. we are going into, I call it the big picture, the rebirth, the going from the ground up. We step back down to the ground to find self, to unload self, to clean self up. Self meaning body, individual self, spiritual self, physical self. So that we're prepared to stand strong or to rise up again, but to rise up with a different outlook, different range of motion, different circulation, less inflammation, more access, more circulation, more neurological understanding of the body, more awareness, more strength, more alignment. We're coming up strong. This is position 8. The beautiful thing about position 8 is that you can't get back to 8 and not feel great. Again, I'll say that. You can't get back to 8 and not feel great. You'll feel better. You will feel different. You feel like dancing. If that's what you want to do in 8, you do that. You did 1 through 7 to get to 8, to feel great. So here we go. Now we play in the body. And again, most of these positions, I'm really trying to get people to spend approximately 2 minutes per position, breathing regularly and continually in their nose and out their mouth, exploring how they feel from their toes to their fingers, making the little micro movements and adjustments that you never feel that you have the right to make in daily life, that you're not allowed to do in a classroom, that often you're shunned to do in front of communities or the public. But the Alston method is to set us free again and to give us the basics and the micro movements that actually build our macro selves. We're now in position 8 and really feeling great. Exploring what's around me. Working on that ankle and that calf. So much is happening in 8. Making some eye movements, some mouth movements. And again, it's the freedom. It's the ability to get in touch with all the little nuances, all the things that you don't feel that you can typically do. That's a beautiful, powerful moment right there. It's conquering, it's strong, it's held, it's whole. It's just different. It's 8. Now, of course, I'm going to work on making sure I can really get some range of motion and touch my toes and elongate my hamstring. Or let's say elongate the back of the body or the posterior chain. I feel if you go through these 8, you'll be shocked the amount of strength and flexibility and circulation and neurological connection and awareness that you will have in your body daily. But this is a method, it's a practice. I believe at some point you'll realize it's not exercise, it's just loving yourself through the Alston method.